party.
AA made all the difference in my life. I noticed that most of the goals I had as a kid were slipping by. I didn't feel like the person I hoped to be. After all those years of drinking, I really didn't know myself. When I was out there drinking, I was always looking for the next great party to make me feel all right. With AA, I found a better way of life. And I feel good in my everyday life, even without a drink in my hand. Alcoholics Anonymous. It works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
MSC Network.
Welcome back to the Spoiler Party. I am Thomas Von Erich, and Chris Kenmore is still here. I'm not lying.
Not lying. He's still here. I was holding my breath. We were going past the cemetery.
Oh, what?
I don't want bad luck for the show, Tom.
Where's the cemetery at?
We're driving past it right now. You can't see it outside our window.
Oh, beside the... What the
It's
fuck?
radio, man.
Even though they
Just
can
go with it.
see us live here on YouTube for the first time, I might add. I guess that's on a little bit of a delay. That's not going to be annoying or anything. Should I turn that off?
What? Oh, up there?
Yeah.
Upstairs?
Yeah, upstairs. Yeah, I think I am. That would have been very distracting. We can't.
Why?
be
Because you love looking at yourself, Tom?
That is true. I do enjoy that a lot.
3 seconds into the past, you like looking at yourself? He's so reflective on his life. He's always looking backwards. Look forward, Tom.
Yeah, I'm always looking forward into a mirror. Sometimes I'm looking over the top of a mirror.
You have half your life ahead of you.
But I do not want to be distracted when we're talking about this next film. And that, of course, is The Many Saints of Newark. Newark, city in New Jersey, I'm told.
So many saints in Newark. Chris Christie, big fat Jersey guy. The Situation. I'm struggling to remember. Snooki, was she in this?
She was not.
She is a saint, though.
Who was in this is Michael Gandolfini, the son of the late James Gandolfini, who, of course, is famous for playing the role of Tony Soprano, which this movie is based on. Oh.
Identical. I couldn't tell them apart. The mannerisms, he had it all down. It's like he grew up with this guy in the same house, and he was able to impersonate, all right, maybe not his pops, but the character that his dad was playing. This iconic character, so beloved. Everyone loved The Sopranos when it was on.
If he loved his pop so much, maybe he shouldn't have killed him with too much cocaine in Italy. Allegedly. That's what happened. He was doing cocaine with his son over in Italy at a movie festival.
That's not true.
Had a heart attack.
You made that up.
Look it up.
I think he was eating sausages and gabagool.
Oh, of course. Some scoombolini. But
It's a gabagool.
This movie doesn't touch too much on young Tony Soprano, and it's more so the Dickie Baltasanti. Did I get that name right?
Yeah,
he's
sure.
the main protagonist of this film. Him and his buddy Harold.
He's from the multiverse, multi-Santes. There's many Santes, and he's one of them. He was Christopher Moltisanti. Christopher. You didn't watch the series when it was on TV.
No, but it's very good that I watched the prequel first. So now I know what everything in the series is going to mean.
No, I think this was only interesting if you actually watched the series. No, it could stand on its own.
It did stand on its own because I was interested. I wasn't looking down at my phone like when I was watching Venom.
Yeah, you like all these mobster movies. I'm surprised you didn't watch Sopranos when it was on HBO.
You know, I was a bit of a rubby-dub back then. I couldn't afford HBO and modern luxuries. I didn't even have cable TV.
And I would let you borrow my password.
And I and I had a generic coaxial antenna that only got channel 8 in. So I only had one channel for years and years and years of my adult life. That's why I was always big into purchasing DVDs and going to the movies. Very large DVD collection.
You were living outside the box.
Yeah, even though they're obsolete right now. But who knows? Maybe in 30 years they'll become a hip collector's item again, like vinyl is right now.
Probably. One of the criticisms of this movie was that they didn't buy the reason that Tony Soprano goes into the mob, because for the whole movie, spoiler alert, he doesn't want to be a mobster.
Yeah, he wants to be on the up and up.
Yeah, he wants to go legit. He wants to go to college. He wants to play ball.
And not at the beginning, though. He sets up a gambling operation at his school.
It's definitely in his blood.
Yes. Because his father, played by John Bernthal, is Johnny
Menthol.
Johnny Soprano, Tony's father.
Mm-hmm. He's a fuck up. He's not the brains of the operation.
No,
like
he's
Tony
a soldier.
Yeah, like Tony was in the television series. Tony was the brains. And
he got busted during a card game, if I'm remembering correctly.
Who did?
Johnny Soprano in this movie when he goes to jail for 5 years.
Yeah. It was just they were making I felt like they were making an excuse to go in and round up the mobsters, because that was the riots started.
Yes.
And so they were just, now they didn't need a warrant, I guess maybe.
They had they needed somebody to blame for the riots, and why not some old white men?
It actually was his fault indirectly. It was Dickie Maltasante, because he was taking a cab. He had a black cab driver. I like this. It was like a butterfly flaps its wings, and then it creates all this chaos around you. I like that part of the writing. That was slick. Yeah, he's just being a mobster. He's going to wherever mobsters hang out, and he tells the cab driver, a black cab driver, he says, make a right up there. He goes, that's one way. I can't go right there. He said, make a right. So the guy does it, makes an illegal turn down the wrong way of a one-way street. He tips him well and goes inside. Dickie Maltasante tips the black cabbie, goes inside, and then here comes the man. They come over.
Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah, and they came over and did what they've been doing for a long time, as this is set back in, the 70s?
Yep, they gave him the old wood shampoo.
What's the wood shampoo?
You beat him over the head with your nightstick.
Oh, okay. Well, they're still doing that today, as we've seen.
Yeah, nowadays they do the Motorola facelift. It's where they take their little speaker thing and hit you in the face with that.
Well, see, I thought they were doing that just to shake him down and steal that tip that he got from the mobster, because they picked his pocket first, and then they roughed him up for, just for fun, I guess. Is that what Blue Lives do for fun, Tom?
That sounds very fun to me.
Okay. Does not sound fun to me. Hassling an innocent man who's just trying to make a living for his family, driving mobsters around in cabs.
Well, they already knew that there's no way to leave the ghetto, as they said in the beginning of the film. They said, in order to win, you got to hit the lottery. That's why they were all playing the numbers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the fix was in on the numbers.
I like when young Tony Soprano is running the numbers. He's in like grade school or middle school.
Yep.
What did the kid came in and he said? He did it in a mobster kind of way, indiscreet. He didn't just pick his numbers. He didn't give him money and say, "Hey, I'll take 318." He's like, Whitey Ford has been in the news today.
Yeah,
he wears number 38.
Number 16,
yeah.
So I'm going to take number 16.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then he interrupts his band class to say that he won. Because what the number that you had to pick was the number of absences that they had. And they announced it over the broadcast system in the school. So his number hit. 16.
There you go.
And we never saw that kid again.
Anyway, yeah. So
Because Tony got kicked out of school.
there's a butterfly effect. So it was this guy's fault. You know, this guy's running the whole show. Basically, what this script is trying to show you, Tom, indirectly or directly, he affects everything that's going on in this town. And then a big riot starts, a George Floyd type of riot, because innocent black man got roughed up by the police, and you know, shit's going down.
And that's when he starts to have disagreements with his a guy on his squad, Harold, played by Lamar Odom Jr.
Yeah, he has one black guy.
Mm-hmm. And then the black guy doesn't want to work for the man anymore. He wants to do things on his own. He tells Dickie that he can't work for him anymore. He's leaving town, going to North Carolina. And then Dickie does the nice thing, gives him a pocket full of cash. He's like, don't even worry about paying me back. You know, here's 5 bills for you, which is a lot of money back then.
Yeah. You didn't even say thank you. You notice that?
I did notice that.
You didn't say thank you. I don't know if my boss handed me 5 bills, I would have said thank you.
He was too busy
told me not to pay
eyeballing a certain lady that was seated at the table.
Right. Oh, this wandering eye. This is after Dickie Moltisanti kills his dad, his own pops. Hollywood Dick Moltisanti. He got that Hollywood D. Hollywood Dick, played by my uncle, Ray Liotta. People have told me that I looked like Ray Liotta. I don't see it. He's got the chin. Maybe in the eyeballs. We got those beautiful lashes. But he plays Hollywood Dick Moltisanti, and he plays his brother. It's not listed in here what his brother's name was. Do you remember?
Salvatore Sally Moltisanti. Twin brothers.
Yeah, twin brothers. His brother's locked up.
Yep, he's serving life in jail for killing a made man. And you know the judge isn't going to... Well, once they told the judge, he killed a made man, sir, not just anybody, not just any man, a made man. So that's why he got locked up with no chance of parole. And as far as we know, he spent his dying days there.
I was going to say, probably one of the biggest stars they had in the movie was Ray Liotta, and to kill him off that early, and then I was relieved.
Yeah. You were relieved? I was kind of pissed. Like, what kind of shit is this? You just killed the guy, and he's back 2 minutes later?
You don't waste that kind of talent, Tom. If you acquire that kind of talent for your film, you maximize it. You make them twins. You kill off one of them, you know, for the surprise factor, and then you bring them back 5 minutes later.
Playing a completely different character.
It was a good character. He spotted right away that Dickie was lying about how his father died.
Yep.
You know, but he doesn't call him out on it till later in the movie, you know.
Yeah, when he determines that he's lying about another death.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about that yet?
No.
Well, let's spoil it.
That comes a little bit further down the road, but I mean, there is a lot squeezed into this movie, and it was a long ass movie too. So 2 hours.
Yep.
They made you wait for it, Sopranos fans, but I think they delivered. I don't know. I can't ask you because you never watched the original series.
I can't find her on this. Oh, is that her?
She looks like a boy in her IMDb picture. She looks like that chick on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you've watched it. Like I wouldn't know her name. She's a newer cast member. Oh, but in this picture, at least, she looks like her. In the movie, she had the long hair.
Giuseppina.
Hey. Moltisanti. His Ray Liotta's young wife that he remarries. I don't know what happened to Dickie Moltisanti's mom. Is she dead?
Yeah, I believe she was kicked down the stairs as well.
Yeah.
And that's what Hollywood Dick did to this one, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, his reasoning for doing that? It's because he marries sluts.
Because he married sluts. Yeah, and young Dickie didn't like that, so he killed his pops, bashed his head in the steering wheel. Oh man, it was a tangle. It was nonstop action. This is what I like better about this than how the actual show left off. There was too much flatness in the show. You know, they would save the impact action. You know, I felt like they held back. They could have did a lot more whacking. You know, they did. They dealt more with the family issues and Tony's psychological problems or whatever, mental issues. They actually.
So it was more of a slow burn, and this is more in your face.
Well, yeah,
action.
and then even the writing got stale to where it was like blatantly. It was just mobsters sitting around talking about their political viewpoints, and I was like, they didn't like even try and sneak it in. You know, it wasn't well written by the end of the series. The first season, second season, probably third season, they were all good, and then it started getting stale. You know, because they didn't want to kill anyone on the show. That's the problem with the show. You want to keep if the audience likes the characters, you want to keep them around as long as possible.
Yeah, especially if you don't know like how many seasons you can extend this out for.
It's like me and you, you know, we're beloved on Facebook Live and now YouTube, and so people want to keep us around.
Yeah, if one of us were to get killed off, they would stop watching.
That's true.
You see that happen all the time on TV shows. They kill some popular characters off, and now people aren't watching. The Walking Dead's a prime example.
Yeah, and then you have those shows, and you could tell when they bring someone in just to die on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this guy's too colorful for this show. He's going to get popped. He's going to be instantly liked because they're trying too hard to make you like him so that they can kill him off and then just pull the rug out from underneath you. Pull that football away like Lucy does to Charlie Brown.
Well, I do want to agree with your assessment that they don't really show Tony becoming the mobster that he, I guess, was in the show. Because after his gambling, he kind of goes on the up and up. He doesn't want to receive stolen property. He wants to, graduate high school, like you said, go to college and do something with his life. And he's even concerned with his mother. Like she, I guess, has some mental problems or something. And the doctors want to give her pills and she doesn't want to take it. So he's trying to, help his mom. And she doesn't see it that way. She thinks it's him, making fun of her or mocking her.
They're addressing it, and they did it in a better way in this movie than they would have done it in the show. They would have just had a conversation like a bunch of women on The View. That's what irritated me about the show by the final seasons.
Oh, was his mom on the show?
Yeah, his mom was on the show. She was crazy as a shithouse rat, she had her own mental issues.
Fuck, that's crazy.
That's really crazy. She had her own mental issues. And you could even see it in the character played by Vera Farmiga, who I thought played their mom pretty good. All the ones, they did a really good job at taking the characters from the show and doing their mannerisms good. Who's the guy who plays this guy, John Magaro, who played Silvio. That's the dude who's from the Bruce Springsteen band. Little Steven Van Zandt, whatever. He was in the TV show, and he played a hilarious character, Silvio Dante.
Now, is the majority of these characters that were in this film in the series as well? Obviously not played by the same people, but the characters themselves.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
Obviously not Dickie, because he dies at the end. Spoiler. He gets shot in the back of the head, which I thought he got shot by his former pal, Harold.
Harold, who was trying to make a name for... Harold was disrespected by his woman, who called him basically a house N-word.
Mm-hmm.
That
it all was all downhill from there.
Yeah, he's you're doing all this work for them. They basically made you this, and then he took that personal.
Yeah, because
And
he killed a guy for Dickie. Well, not for Dickie, but I guess he was having trouble with some street thugs, like either stealing his money or not coming up with the money when they were supposed to. It all involves the money.
right,
Something about the money.
I thought, yeah. See, you can see where Dickie was the brains because it was making him look bad, in front of the guys. That this guy he kept letting him come up short,
Yeah.
So he goes to and takes him off to the side, and he tells him, aren't you embarrassed that uh, you're getting shorted by these they're basically high school a young street gang that was dressed like the Warriors. I thought the Warrior, the movie The Warriors.
Yep.
I thought that movie was like a characterized caricature, but this is more supposed to be authentic, and apparently that was how black street gangs dressed back then with
Yep,
the
they
cut
had,
off
matching
jean
vests.
jacket
Yep.
/ leather jacket. He looked like Lamar from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, he did.
The guy who kept ripping him off and he was running away.
Oh, but he got his comeuppance.
Yeah.
He got what he deserved for stealing from the what is it, the DeMeo family? What's the big name of the gang like overall? Like, because it wasn't when Tony Soprano ran.
Oh,
the gang.
Multisantes?
I thought it was something else.
Of which gang?
The
The black gang?
no, Tony's gang.
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
the family.
I don't know. The only ones I know
yeah,
is
yeah,
Soprano and Multisantes.
DeMeo crime family.
Who was DeMeo then?
I don't know.
Why do they call him that?
It wasn't. I read somewhere that in The Sopranos, Tony Soprano wasn't the head of the Soprano family. He was the head of the DeMeo family. Unless I read that wrong, and it's just this is the family that they talk about in this movie.
I don't know how to spell that.
DeMeo, just like the Amityville horror
Here, I
people.
I have a Sopranos fan page wiki thing that basically it's like our Venn diagram. I don't know. Nothing's coming up for that. William DeMeo. He portrayed Jason Molinaro in a recurring role. I don't know. That's the actual name of somebody. I don't know. I know Multisante and Soprano. It's the Soprano family. Oh, you're saying there was a bigger boss and they were just a small section of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's probably how it works. There's no way ever knowing that.
Yeah, and the Illuminati is always at the top.
The guys back over the pond, back in Italy still, who were really running the shit.
Oh, that's true. They do have
These they come off as goofballs. They're flawed characters, They're not like the Godfather. He's so stoic and never makes any mistakes. He's so calculated and oh my God, leave the cannoli and take the gun or whatever. It's not that kind of crime family. These are like doofuses that keep fucking up. That's what's interesting about it to me. That this could be the same guys from the Jersey Shore, could be running this family and doing a terrible job at it, but they got the hair gel and they got everything just right. That's what I was saying about this guy who played Silvio Dante, John Magaro. Actually hails from Akron, Ohio, very close to us. But in the prequel, you see him without his hair in the beginning before he gets his piece, before he gets that big giant bouffant that he wears in the the HBO series.
Yeah, he tried rocking the comb over.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look too hot, especially next to all these other Italian guys that have the full head of hair.
That was one of his things. They always would do the thing, to check and make sure your hair's in place where you got it. It feels like it's moving. This was before Gorilla Glue, before all those things. They didn't have things that could hold your hairpiece in place.
I watched a documentary recently, and it was about a hockey team in Connecticut that was purchased by a man named James Galanti, who is a convicted felon and associate of the Genovese crime family. And that there were some things that I was reading, they even said so in the documentary, that he was the main inspiration for Tony Soprano in The Sopranos. He buys this hockey team, makes his 17-year-old son, AJ, the general manager, and just only signs hockey players that fight. So that they would just do nothing but fight every game.
I know nothing about that.
Well, it's a good documentary on Netflix. You should check it out. It is called, I don't know. Maybe I should put documentary after the.
You know what I was confused about? We were talking about if Christopher actually ever got whacked. You see, here's the problem, Sopranos, with waiting 20 years to do your prequel movie. I forgot what happened to all the mob characters.
The narrator of this film is a guy named.
You said that Christopher Moltisanti. I know who that character very well. He was very popular on the show.
In this film, he is only a baby, but he is also the narrator. And he mentions his fate right at the beginning.
What? He said he got strangled. They didn't say. Did he say he got killed?
Killed by Tony Soprano.
Tony killed him himself?
Yes. In
why
his words, he was sent to hell by Tony Soprano.
I don't know why I don't remember it. Maybe he wasn't killed. Sent to hell for a mobster who's used to living like a mobster, like Ray Liotta's character in what's the movie? Goodfellas. Sent to hell could mean he had to be a normal schlub in the suburbs. He had to join the witness protection program. That could have been what he was talking about. I don't know. I have to look through this, and it's not saying, does he get whacked? Oh, wait. Yeah, because look, they put like little cards on this. This is I don't know, sopranos.fandom.com is what I'm looking at if anyone wants to look at this on your own. Oh, yeah, deceased, suffocated in car crash.
Was that shown on screen? Because it says, though never seen on screen, he acts as the narrator of this film. Christopher is seemingly narrating from the afterlife, bitterly referencing his death at the hands of Tony, as well as Tony's lack of financial support to his family after his death.
Because he was a suspected rat. In the first one, not him per se. I don't think he ever cooperated. Maybe he did. But his girlfriend definitely did. They got to her. And somehow it probably got back to him. I vaguely remember it now that I read that, but I'm sure it was very memorable scene. But it's been a long time. I don't know. When did that show go off the air?
Oh, I'm looking. It says 2021, but that's the movie.
Trying to pull it up right now. Oh, and so okay, so in this show, The Merry Saints of Newark, um, there's a scene in there when Christopher is born, and they bring him every time he comes around Tony, he starts crying as a baby. You know, that's
Yep.
his nephew.
So apparently that's yeah, that's when he mentioned that.
One of the old Italian ladies goes, sometimes when a baby is brought into this world, they bring stuff from the other side, and they know, basically hinting that he knew his fate. He knew that he didn't like that guy for some reason, didn't like Tony.
The original show went from 99 to 07. But like I said before, I thought it was Harold, his former partner, who killed Dickie. But you informed me that it wasn't.
It's not Harold.
It was somebody else altogether.
And it's funny if you watch the show, if you know Tony's uncle Junior Soprano, this guy who played him in this series again, amazing job. He had it down exactly like the other actor played the character. That's something that's probably hard to do, to replicate somebody else's performance. Anyway, let's see who give him a shout out. Played by Corey Stoll. He played the younger junior soprano. In the original Sopranos, he's like Tony's uncle, who's like 900 years old and blind as a bat. But he played him to perfection. You were laughing at how he was. He had a lot of pent up anger that he had pent up. He wasn't.
He was prone to outbursts.
At some point in this movie, they said his hands were kind of soft, right? He never really got his hands dirty with killing people and doing any of the hard gangster work.
He was the butt of the joke a lot of the time.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
When they were at the nightclub, all the guys were on the table. They would joke about him, say, "Hey, your wife's cheating on you," and then all laugh at him.
Yeah. So he didn't like that. He didn't like that about Dickie. Seemed to enjoy having a laugh at his expense at the nightclub, and then at a funeral. It's raining out, and he's walking out, and he busts ass on the slippery ass steps coming out, and he throws his back out. Then he can't bang his wife, and his wife is giving him a hard time about it. And he's like, "It's that goddamn Dickie." And she's like, "What did he have to do? You fell. You slipped. Yeah, but he didn't have to laugh about it." And so at the end, you find out Dickie gets whacked, and it was Junior who ordered the hit. For some reason, he just didn't like him, and he picked that time. They don't explain why he picked that time. They just show afterwards he gets a phone call, goes across the street to the phone booth, and he answers. Someone goes, "It's done," and he hangs up.
And at the funeral for Dickie, Tony Soprano has a nice moment with the corpse where he imagines their pinky swear that they had earlier in the film. I don't remember what that was about, but I guess they
were always asking Dickie to go talk to, you talk to him, he looks up to you. Can you talk to him? He looks people did that to him a couple times in this movie. So Tony did that with his mom. He said, "Can you talk to her because she looks up to you?"
So that, I guess that was Tony's way of keeping his promise, like, "I'm going to make you proud."
Yeah.
And that's how Tony Soprano was made, I guess.
That's it. Yeah, he was desperately seeking out his uncle's attention at that point because he was calling him to get beer for a party, and his uncle was listening to a request from Ray Liotta's character,
Sally,
whatever, the guy in jail, the twin, he said, "Do the kid a favor and
stay away from
stay
him.
away from him." You know, because he had already regretted the life. You can tell that he's in jail, and he said, "This is how my life ended up. I'm fucking stuck in this jail cell for life. Don't do that to that kid. Let him get out. If the kid wants to get out and doesn't want to be part of the crime family, let him do it." You know, basically what he was telling him. And he was trying to do that. And Silvio's character was like the kid, you know, doing the opposite. He's saying, you should bring this kid in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this he can tell he has talent. He was a talent scout. You know, I think that's how they would say it in the show. He's got talent, this kid, you know. Like your buddy Donald Trump, I think, stole that from The Sopranos.
Oh, no, that's
he's a rising star, T. You got to do it.
Well, I don't think there was any. There was one like post-credit scene. It was with Harold, but didn't really make sense. At the very end, after the credits roll, and they show Harold doing God knows what. He's just like at home, living his life. Like they got to make him the main character who had absolutely nothing to do, from what I'm told, with the original Sopranos show. They just had to throw some Let me try that again. Some inclusiveness into the show.
Why do you think they included him, Tom?
I just said.
Why? Because inclusiveness?
Yes.
Oh.
Otherwise,
why do you think they had to? They didn't have to. They could have shot him
it's
up
Hollywood.
on the block.
They have to. My question to you is, I don't know much about the previous show, but was the guy who created The Sopranos, and he was like the director of all the episodes, did he have anything to do with this film whatsoever?
Yeah. Creator, yeah. David Chase. That's basically in TV. If you wrote the script, you know, I think we had talked about this before. For a TV show, I think they call it executive producer, but for a film, an executive producer just gives money. But executive producer of a series or a show, basically you're the creator. It doesn't mean you wrote every single script. They can hire other writers, but you created all the characters.
The writer, well, he's credited as a writer, but only based on characters created by.
Oh, okay. So maybe he had little to do with it.
Because I remember
and they just
for
put
a
his
time,
name on it. Then
for a long time, he was very protective of the Sopranos property.
he probably
he didn't want.
Yeah, he probably got a final approval. They had to keep writing it, and he didn't want to be involved in it. He wanted to leave it what it was. I think that's what was going on. And so that's why it took 12 or 15 years, 20 years. What was it? That show was in the 90s, right?
Yep, 99 to 07.
Oh, it went all the way to 2007?
Yeah, only 6 seasons, though, so they probably like either split those up or who knows.
It did the Ozark scheduling.
Oh, where it's only like every 2.5 years you get a new one?
Yeah. We're getting a new Ozark in 2022. Look out for that.
Final season of that, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Is that what
believe
they
so.
said?
Yeah. 4th and final.
Okay. Better be a big one. Better do a good job in making us wait this long.
They're waiting until they can find some new lens filters in different shades of blue. All right, well, I guess that's going to wrap it up for our coverage of The Sopranos prequel, The Saints of Newark, The Many Saints of Newark, excuse me.
We spoiled it all. I disagree with what they said about Tony Soprano. I mean, you can see, I don't think his character in the show ever really did want to be the boss. You know what I mean? I think he would just felt obligated. And I would have to go back and watch this prequel again to see what moment, he felt that obligation or why he felt the obligation to pick up the mantle for Uncle Dickie. But, he kind of had a wild streak, but not a mean streak. He was a nice kid. He cared about his mother's mental health. They touched on that. That's something that happened in.
You said that happened in the show as
that,
well.
That was a big part of the show. That to show a mob boss and go and be in front of a psychiatrist to shrink, because he's going to tell shit that he shouldn't be telling anybody. You got to keep your mouth shut. That was a liability of his character that he went to a psychiatrist. If people found that out, it upset them.
Yep, and they would have to kill the psychiatrist.
And probably Tony, they get itchy trigger fingers.
Everyone has to die.
Yeah.
The secretary, the janitor at the office building where the psychiatrist is, he's got to go too.
He might know something.
All right, well, before we get out of here, Chris, where can people see you perform this week?
Probably the TikTok, Lakewood Village Tavern, maybe, and Hatfields. The big three. I don't stray too far outside of my area because my car probably wouldn't drive that far anyway yet. So,
typical comedian sob story. And where can people find you online?
At Ken Moore for Less on Twitter, Instagram. Hit me up.
And we got a couple of new movies that we're going to be reviewing next week.
Where did you find these? I'm sure these are going to be amazing. Bingo Hell,
which is a new...
It's about Golden Girl Rose. Betty White plays a woman who's trying to win at bingo, and she is willing to do whatever it takes, including murder her foes, anyone who gets in her way.
That's actually
tell me that's the premise.
Almost accurate.
Tell me that's the premise.
In the barrio of Oak Springs live a strong and stubborn group of elderly friends who refuse to be gentrified. Their leader keeps them together as a community of family, but little did they know their beloved bingo hall is about to be sold to a much more powerful force than money itself.
This should be the premise of the show. I don't watch the movies. You pick awful movies, and then I try and predict what happened in the movie, and then you spoil it if I'm right or if I'm wrong.
This is one of the new...
At least one of the movies we should do like that every week.
This is the new Blumhouse film. They're releasing one every single week on Amazon Prime.
Because it's Halloween.
Yes, it is now October. So this is the first one. And then also another film we're going to be doing, very controversial.
Ooh, Titanic. It's the prequel to Titanic. It's called Titane.
It follows a series of unexplained.
Right?
Yep, Titane.
See, the
It's
prequel
a series
to
of
Titanic.
unexplained crimes. A father reunited with the son who has been missing for 10 years. What?
Just what streaming is on Prime?
This is actually in theaters.
Okay. I'm sure it's amazing.
If we had time, we'd play the trailer for you, but unfortunately, we do not. We have to get out of here, but do not fear. We will be back next week with another episode of The Spoiler Party.
This has been The Spoiler Party. See you next time on the MSC Network.